Hey everyone, welcome to the first episode of my podcast, Everybody Loves Tom. Later on today, we're going to be talking to my friend, one of my BFFs ever in my life, Kyle Chan, great jewelry designer. I'm sure you've seen him on the show many times. He's also been on Bling Empire and other things as well. Really excited to talk to him about his Gold Bar whiskey collaboration, as well as our history together. But before that, I would like to introduce my friend, as well as my fellow bandmate of The Most Extras, the drummer and producer of this podcast, ladies and gentlemen, Jason Bader.
Hello, Tom.
What's up, Jason?
Thanks for having me.
Dude, yeah, of course.
We're doing the podcast.
We're doing the podcast.
We've been talking about it for a long time.
We have.
We're doing it.
We're doing it. We will be doing, recaps of episodes of Vanderpump Rules, as well as the upcoming Special Forces show that I was on. I was lucky to be on. I mean, I'm so excited for that. I'm really excited also for our Patreon subscribers because we'll be doing recaps of season 11 Vanderpump Rules, as well as the upcoming season of Special Forces and other things. We'll definitely dive into that, especially, this first episode. Really want to sort of, I feel like in this past 6 months or so, the narrative of my life has been more sort of written by everyone else. And so I would really just like to clear some things up, talk about some things that I've learned throughout this whole experience, steps that I've taken to really sort of better myself and try to use, this whole situation as a positive in some way, in any possible way, because I feel like in any situation, whether it's failure or loss, you can really sort of try and take something from it.
And I think you have already.
Yeah.
Just and I've been someone who's seen you through this whole time and seen you evolve and grow. And one thing that I am super proud of you for and have bragged about you to a lot of people is that you have been sober since what? How long has it been so far?
Well, I haven't drank since I believe it was April 4th or 5th.
Yeah, I mean that's really awesome.
Yeah.
And I know right before that you were, it was really a tough time for you, and you were going really hard.
Yes.
And it's amazing, and you kind of did it on your own.
Yeah.
All on your own.
Yeah, I didn't really tell a lot of people during the process. I think that's kind of helps.
Yeah.
I also, quit smoking cigarettes. I was kind of the point where I was just like chain smoking cigarettes and drinking all day, every day. As soon as I got done working out, I'd start drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's literally like, if I wasn't working out, I was drinking. If I wasn't drinking, I was working out.
Yeah. And this was because we went on tour early May, and I remember thinking, all right, well, he'll maybe stop before the tour, because I know when we're on tour, it's easy to drink and smoke because of like the grueling schedule and not really sleeping and
the nerves
especially.
I'll tell you what, going on stage, especially that had to be one of the biggest challenges, was like, getting on stage and performing, especially in the wake of all of this, not knowing how people are gonna, respond to this, if people were gonna throw shit.
Which they did. We kind of knew.
Before I went on stage, it was pretty much like at least 3 shots, 3 beers, just to calm my nerves. And that's normal. That was pre-scandal.
Oh yeah, I mean on our rider we would have, and not just for you, I mean we have a big band,
yes.
But we would have 3 on our rider, 3 bottles of liquor.
Yeah.
Whiskey,
vodka, tequila.
We would have, and we would bring our own
Good Lovin'.
Tom's Good Lovin'. And we would have shots in the green room before we'd go on. Then we'd have our own.
We'd have at least 2 cases of beer, a case of seltzers.
Oh yeah. Then we'd prepare just for you your own your own bucket of beers for the stage.
Yes.
Just for the stage.
Yeah.
And, you'd go through those, popping them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for
Kicking them over.
Yeah.
Kicked over so many beers.
Yeah, by accident. But for you to go and do this whole tour, and it was a pretty gnarly tour. Almost all of May we were on the road.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of amazing shows, but we had some really, rowdy crowds, some really amazing supportive people,
Yeah.
but some really not supportive people who came to the shows just to disrupt and to be there to show how angry they were and to
I think a lot of people
be not great.
Yeah, what really sucked too was seeing people like be really mean to the fellow band members.
Yes,
like,
that
Maddie used to get
me the most.
Maddie
The
used to
most.
get it really bad, and I'm like, what
Yeah.
the fuck, man? Like,
our female singer.
yeah, Maddie, she's so great, such a
No, that would kill.
amazing,
That kills me.
beautiful person.
Yeah.
And
An incredible singer.
Incredible
and an
singer.
incredible person.
yeah,
Yeah.
so much great energy, and she would get heckled on
Beyond belief.
It was so bad.
Yeah.
But one thing that I did notice, obviously a lot of people thought I was like, living some sort of like rock star life or whatever, living out my dreams. And I know Schwartz and other people were confused about that, but obviously, I had to make money. I was supposed to shoot Winter House at one point. That fell through.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously endorsements stopped coming in. And so I had to tour. At that point, I think
So just to give people a little bit of context, Sandoval all happened in early March. We had already booked a tour for early May, and by this point we really didn't have a choice. I guess we did have the choice to cancel almost, how many shows did we do? Almost 20 shows in May. We had that choice, but
we would have been blacklisted.
We would have been
There would be no more band.
no more band.
That you can't do that.
No.
You cannot do that in the industry.
Our booking agents would have dropped us. All these venues would have never hired us again. And also to the thousands of fans who came out to the show, who genuinely wanted to come out and see us, who got babysitters for the night, who spent the money to buy these tickets. I think they would have been really bummed out. We were all over the country. We went to some towns and cities that don't get a lot of acts that come through. We go to a lot of people don't realize this. We go to a lot of major cities, but we also go to a lot of suburbs.
We're always like, we're kind of like on the outskirt,
like in the middle of nowhere, kind of. But those are our favorite places to go visit.
They are. Yeah.
They're usually like the best people.
Yes.
They're the most appreciative. They're the most fun.
Yeah, because
So-
it's kind of like LA. You can go see,
Anybody.
all these big comedians. You
Best of
can
the best.
spend like $30 and go see like,
Chris Rock.
Chris
Anybody
Rock,
at the Comedy Store.
Arsenio Hall, like
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle shows up sometimes.
Yeah.
Like if you were to go try to like see them in these smaller cities, it's like $200 tickets, and that's kind of like how it is with us. Like
Yeah.
it's hard to book shows in
And also the commitment to the band.
yeah
Yeah, we tour with a lot of people. Not just we have a 9-person band
yeah
plus our crew. These people, they rely on the tour to keep them going.
yes
Including myself. every people you
yeah
got a lot of people
I
who
was
rely on you, including you too.
yeah I
at that
was
point.
definitely relying on it, and I at one point I know we did like 10 or 8 shows in 10 days.
Yeah, it was
in 8
pretty
different
grueling.
cities, and it was really, really grueling. We don't have a tour bus. We're like in a Sprinter van.
Yeah, driving a U-Haul with all of our equipment behind you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You always drove the U-Haul. Did a great job with that, man.
Yeah. Hey, that's what I'm there for.
Um,
Yeah, and I always thought whenever I see people on like these Vanderpump groups or on social media making fun of you for paying the band for being in the band or something, like how they kind of like poked fun at you last season for this.
Oh.
For like you pay your bandmates, and they thought like that's weird, or like they made fun of you for that.
No.
But it's like,
no, that's what you do.
what do you do? So do you think Bruce Springsteen doesn't pay like the Eat Street Band?
Yeah.
What do you think? How do you think these people make money?
Yeah.
These are people who went to music school, who are phenomenal musicians. Why wouldn't you pay them? That's how.
Yeah.
Do these people not get paid by their bosses, or people who hire them to do? They're professionals.
Yeah, of course.
So I commend you for that.
That's one thing. I mean, when we got this band going, I mean, you did a hell of a job. You and Colin, our musical director.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys did a really good job of just keeping this really professional. And because previously with bands I've had, the thing that's been always lacking is the professionalism, the drive, the recording, the getting the content together, to put it out there, and then it ends up like never going anywhere. And it's like wasted years, wasted hours. I wasted so much time in previous bands, and that's one of the reasons why I was reluctant to even ever do music again.
So you were saying at that time, going on tour was less you living your rock star dream and more of a financial commitment to people, but also it was necessary for yourself.
Yes. And honestly, I think that, quitting the drinking, and going on tour, like it might have actually saved my life. Like I can't imagine being cooped up, because I couldn't go anywhere at the time, being cooped up in a place, not being able to do anything, just wallowing in misery.
Yeah.
And at that point, Rachel had, and honestly, that's one of the reasons why I stopped drinking. I stopped drinking the day that she went into the Meadows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember those were very dark days. I remember because we had a show the day this whole thing was broke by TMZ or whoever. Friday, we had a show with Yali Crew, our buddies Yali Crew in Anaheim. And I remember we stayed over in Anaheim. I remember dropping you off at your house. And those were dark, dark days.
Really dark days.
And I remember
there's nowhere I could go. I still have paparazzi outside my house.
Yeah, you literally do. But I remember
it's been 6 months. Still have paparazzi outside my house.
And you probably will for a while longer.
That's crazy.
And months ago, I remember people like, this will blow over.
Oh.
This will blow over.
Oh, I mean, hearing people, it got a little frustrating to hear people be like, Tom, just give it a week. Just give it a week.
There'll be a new cycle.
There'll be a new thing next week. It's fine. I'm like, no, it's not going anywhere, guys. It's not going anywhere.
No.
Oh my God.
And
it was crazy. I will say though, going out on tour though, I felt like it was really a good and important move to get out there and reconnect with fans of the show, because I know people too. Yeah. They came out to sort of like see what was going on with the band, to witness the band for the first time, but also just to like be a part of it, be a part of the historical Sandoval of it all.
I think there was, yeah.
And they came out. Some people came out to hate, but then ended up like. When I would go out, because I would go out and make sure and take pictures with every single person that came. And I think just being out there and just being, nice, authentic, open, like with people, really sort of like, oh, this guy is an actual human being and not just some sort of evil, demonic character in a movie,
Yeah, and my favorite part was looking out and seeing the people in the crowd who were wearing, and I would say most of the people who came to those shows on tour wore t-shirts that were not very nice to you. I mean, they were funny, kinda, but were really not nice. I mean, every name in the book, evil, worm with a mustache, really scumbag and shithead, all the stuff.
Yeah.
But what I loved seeing was those people in the crowd dancing the hardest.
Yeah.
Wanting to, put their hand on your hand, but then also they would wait after the shows for sometimes an hour to get a picture with you. So those and
they were really nice too.
They were really nice, but also I gotta say, you were really nice to take a picture with them. If somebody wore a t-shirt with my face on it that said like, fuck Jason Bader, I don't know if I would take a picture with them, yet alone with 30 of those people, and every night you did that. Wow. That has got to say something about you, Tom.
Well, I've always hated when people judge me for what I wear, so I didn't want to judge them for what they wear.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But I got to say, after those people, I feel like that was the connection that maybe they needed.
Yeah, I think it really helped, and also, I did notice that people, and I understand this, like I lost a lot of friends in this whole situation, and it was, a lot of it has to do with the fact that it's not easy to be my friend right now, and it definitely wasn't back then.
No way.
You know, it's you people just, everybody from you, Billy, Kyle, you know, these people like just would just be seen with me and just get so much hate. I mean, so much hate. Yeah. And it was really sad to me. But, you know, so I would understand, and this was something that I would see people doing, is they would come and they would have a great time at the show, you know, rocking out, dancing, singing along, and then like they would just post like one quick video of them like, you know, with their phone out, like flipping off the stage, just being like, we did not have fun. We came here to troll Tom, and that's what we did the entire time. Yeah. They would just get that quick video of them like this. It's like, yeah, fuck you, Tom.
I know.
And then they're like, finish singing the song. Like,
because what ends up happening a lot too, that a lot of these people don't realize is all of these people who come out who are your fans and who love you and who are there to just have a good time and not want to deal with the drama of that.
Yeah, they just want to lose themselves.
Yeah, they end up being like, take that shit down. What are you doing? They end up fighting. There were a lot of fights
that are
between like the pro Tom people and the anti Tom people, which we don't want. We don't encourage that. But then like there are fights in the venues that obviously these people who like run the venues and the security don't want. We don't want it.
No.
You guys don't want it.
Disruptive,
so it's like, it's disruptive to you guys. So it's, I don't know. It's no fun for anybody. Who wants that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I'm excited to bring Kyle on.
Yeah, me too.
He actually made an amazing old fashioned, and he's gonna show us the recipe that actually landed him the Gold Bar collaboration. So I'm really excited to do that. We're gonna be having a lot of cocktails on, you know, Everybody Loves Tom. And so this is the first one.
First one of many.
The first one. All right, everyone, we're back, and we have a very special guest, one of my best friends, the amazing and talented Kyle Chan, the jewelry designer for the stars.
Yay!
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being on our first episode here.
It is my honor, and it's exciting, and it's nerve-wracking a little bit.
Yeah, it always is with me.
I'm gonna make you my infamous old-fashioned. That is the drink that I managed to score the deal with Gold Bar Whiskey. Yeah. So I made Gold Bar Whiskey owner Elliot the old-fashioned that he said he'd never had this good of an old-fashioned in his entire life. And since you're not drinking, I'm gonna do yours first. This is the mocktail, right?
Yeah, that's
ritual.
A mock whiskey.
So there's a general rules that I always suggest people to just pour 1 shot and a quarter. Because if you over pour, that's when you make the mistake.
Exactly. That's the easiest way to ruin a cocktail. People don't realize is too much alcohol.
Too much alcohol, your ice melt way too much, and your like whiskey portion, it's not correct.
It's the easiest way to ruin a Bloody Mary specifically. A strong Bloody Mary is disgusting.
So since my bottle is not going to be ready until November,
so
but they've shipped me some of these that I could share with you guys.
Wow, let me smell. Can I smell?
So this is the 18-year. I can't even describe how good it smells.
Tell us about your collaboration with Gold Bar, because I know, you know, obviously we were at the event, everything, you know, I haven't had yours yet, because I know you went through a rigorous process of deciding, and I know I tried some of the front runners and top contenders. And they were really good, but they were not aged 18 years.
Yeah, it was actually more than I thought the process is gonna be. I just thought that whenever it's a collaboration, right? They just send you a bunch of stuff and then you go yes, no. But it was a little bit more intense than that. And we're gonna put it inside here. And I personally like to smoke it with rosemary because I feel like any other wood, it's like a little too strong. And I don't want it to take away the experience.
Whoa.
If we could give this a name, what would we name this?
I would name it the Kyle Chan Gold Rush Old Whiskey.
Ooh.
Like,
Yeah.
Love that.
The Kyle Chan Gold Rush Old Fashioned.
Yep.
All right, I love it. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Cheers.
Yes.
Something tells me that we shouldn't be drinking and doing podcasts.
No,
Because
this is
it may-
great.
You might slip, you know?
No, this is what we want. We want people to be comfortable,
Candid.
casual, candid.
Okay.
You know, I've gotten some of the biggest trouble on any podcast when I've had drinks.
Well, I told you
Why not?
so. And you never listen. You just like to do your own thing. So
When is this supposed to hit the market?
should be November.
November.
Yeah, November should be ready. So a lot of people actually missed the epic party in San Francisco, in
Yeah.
Treasure Island. It's so ironic when, because Gold Bar Whiskey, you know, obviously all Gold Bar, and they're on Treasure Island.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that makes
Yeah.
perfect sense.
nobody wants to miss that party.
It was such a great party. You know, Sheena performed. You know, with
Good as gold.
The 27s. Yeah, you had to perform good as gold, and then you got tons of press because there was a fight or
Yes.
like a little.
That you somehow got yourself involved in.
Yeah.
Well, so
Explain
I
yourself.
see this guy running away from a way bigger guy, and I'm like, and the bigger guy's going after, you know, the guy who threw the glass of wine, and which was great. I got wine slung all over me, and then this guy's just like walking after him, like I'm gonna, you know,
Yeah.
and it was I didn't know what was going on at
Yeah.
that time because I didn't see that one of the guys had a earpiece in,
Yeah.
so I couldn't know if he was like security or what. I just thought maybe two people were, so I immediately jumped in to sort of like separate them.
Yeah.
And then I saw that this guy actually was security, and then like the other guy that was causing the issue, whatever, he picked up a chair, and I, you know, went to grab the chair, and then somebody else grabbed him and pulled him out. And I just started to make sure that he had control of the guy. I think the guy was just more worried about getting away from the big dude who was
Yeah.
obviously going to destroy him.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kyle, is that somebody that you invited to the party?
Well, I actually, he is one of my customers' husband.
Okay.
And I've only met them in a professional setting, and they were both like really nice people. And I actually warned Gold Bar Whiskey. I said, well, since it's open bar and we're only serving whiskey, I'm not trying to justify what he did, but I think people get carried away when they see the cameras around.
Yes.
And seeing all the cast member, and on top of that, it's the season finale.
Yeah.
So I think that he might have more than, you know, his normal alcohol.
It wasn't a short party either.
Yes.
You know, these like
They came in like a day before, or like 2-3 days ahead of time, probably, because it's a long weekend.
Yeah.
So I think he's quite intoxicated. I've seen him like getting really drunk already, and at one point, my partner James, escorted him out already and saying, "Do you need water or whatever?" But then he seemed like he got a hold of himself again and went back to the party, and I just didn't. We weren't aware of all of these things happening.
Well,
until-
I mean, there were hundreds of people there.
yeah.
So
it was so crazy.
You
But,
can't tag all of them.
Yeah. But it's funny that people think you staged this, and I'm like, oh, nobody wanted to. You can't pay me that money to do that to myself. I
no.
can't.
Well, people were messaging me the video saying like, oh my God, somebody attacked Tom. What happened? Or somebody thought you were fighting that person. That's what it looked like on that video.
Well, the headlines always sound better. Tom involved in
Right,
fight
of
at
course.
season
Yeah.
finale.
Yeah.
Or Tom gets physical, you know. It's, you know,
But
they
it
gotta.
clearly looked like you
they
were
need
trying
clicks.
to de-escalate.
Yeah.
what
I
was
just,
going on.
when I jumped in, I was like, dude, this guy is going to destroy this dude.
Yeah.
because the security guy was huge.
We don't agree with what he does, but people seem to think that we endorse it. No, we don't.
No, you guys were kicking my ass.
Yeah,
behind
I'm
closed
like,
doors.
I'm smarter than that. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think like there's a disconnect between supporting your friend who you don't agree with their, the decisions they made, but still supporting your friend, your best friend.
Yeah.
And, but still being there to support them.
Well, I think there's one thing that people don't really see, because when you're shunned by the entire country and then you get hate, every single person on earth thinks that because you're on reality TV show, so they're entitled to trash you, and you brought this upon yourself. And then on top of that, even your family is afraid to hang out with you, because they don't, the trolls don't only go after you, they go after your restaurant, they go after the people that you see. If you go to a hair salon,
I had to untag and delete pictures of me and my brother.
Yeah.
You want to support your hair guy, and they'll be like, don't tag me, pretend you're not here. It's not an easy thing to do, and I've seen that. Like, you're living like a fugitive life, and
it was really crazy living like, I mean, it really was like living like a fugitive. Like the feeling of like being wanted for like a triple homicide, like not being able to go anywhere, being followed, being harassed, just relentlessly. Anything I did, I mean, like if I was pictured with any girl, it's like we're having sex. Like Billy would come over to like do laundry. She'd come over at like 1 in the afternoon. They'd be like, Billy spends the night again. Me and you walking to Foxfire room with Tyler, and they cut out you and Tyler to just show me and Billy. Yeah, it's like,
it was entertaining for us though. We thought it was funny.
Oh man, it is crazy. Like at one point I didn't shower for like, and didn't change my clothes for almost a week.
You were wearing all black, I remember.
Yes.
The black peak,
dude, it was, I was so gross.
The funeral stage.
Yeah, I just remember it's like the Johnny Cash stage, I remember.
Yeah.
Just you wearing black like all day, every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Man.
Well, yeah, so people think that, oh, it's like you deserve it, blah, blah, blah. Living in that kind of like environment for one day, it's hard. Not to talk about 2 days, 3 days, for a whole week. And then you can't go anywhere. You can't post anything. You can't talk to anybody. There's nobody. And putting your money, cut off the way you make money, cut off everything that you have. It's literally, a lot of people don't see that it's a serious thing, but I think it is like literally forcing a person to end their life. It's a very sticky situation.
It did get really dark. I remember when I got back from tour, was like specifically a really, really hard day. I remember it was, we were just finishing the second leg of our tour. It was when we did those like eight shows in 10 days. I hadn't slept, and I came back, and I remember like Ariana was shooting a thing for like Duracell.
Oh yeah, the battery commercial.
And it's like, there's like people at my house, the fire alarm's going off in my house. My assistant Ann is like helping them put together like all their shot, like cleaning up and helping stage stuff for them. And here there's this ad being shot that's directly, poking fun at me.
Yeah.
And that makes me, everything that makes me me, and then like, that same day, Kyle, you sent me this thing where like, that
yes,
like,
I didn't know it was on the same day. I didn't know that was happening.
Sweet Lady Jane is like,
Bashing you.
Sandoval's a liar selling cakes for $400. Let's say Sandoval's a liar. Bring this to your next party.
So cute.
But yeah, that was rough. I was like, and then I remember Kyle, like I was in had to do with being sleep deprived as well. But when you get into that space mentally, I never understood. I remember I'll never forget this. Like, I went to the Grove, and I was a huge Linkin Park fan, you know where this is going. Huge Linkin Park fan, and I saw Chester at the Grove. Coming out of the garage, he was at that Italian restaurant when you're coming out of the parking garage, walking into the Grove, into the middle, right where the fountain is. He was there. He's wearing a sleeveless shirt. I was like, I was with Ariana at the time. We were in a rush to like pick up clothes, but he was there. He seemed happy, or I don't know. He just was animated, energetic on the phone. And I saw him. I was like, oh my God, it's Chester. Like, literally days later, he had died. He had, killed himself. And I could never understand why. But when you get into that, headspace, it's like, it's a domino effect. Like your world starts collapsing on itself, and you cannot see outside of your feelings. Your peripheral goes away. Your sense of like thinking about future, thinking about like, oh, come on, like you can't, like your ability to snap out of it goes away. And there were some times where I was, felt very, very close. And I'm just so glad that like I had you, was able to, Billy came over that day. I think she took me to a comedy show to like get me out of it.
Was it funny?
Yeah, it was all right. It was okay. Yeah. But there was just so much. I mean, also during that time, Rachel was away, and initially when all that stuff went down, like we were obviously talking to each other all the time, and we, and then she went away to that facility, to the Meadows or whatever, and I kind of was like at her beck and call in a sense, because you can, just got rid of, couldn't have her phone in there, no access to anything, and so I had to wait for her call, which could only happen maybe once a day. And so when I would get that call from her, it would be like, oh my gosh, like, but I was constantly waiting there. And then, some days I like wouldn't get that call, and it would really affect my mood. And I remember we'd be on the road, like we're touring, and I'm just like waiting. I'm like, even at band practice, I'd be like, oh, I'm going to probably get a call maybe between this time and this time. Yeah, sound check or whatever. And then sometimes it's like a week, would go by, or a few days, and it killed me. Yeah.
When was the last time you spoke to her?
It was like the end of June.
Well, I feel like she needed help, and she's getting the help that she might think she wanted. If that's what makes her feel better, and this is what she's doing, then so be it. Because the only way for people to learn is they're going to do what they think is right for them at that moment. And then they're going to look back 5 years and 10 years from now, and then they go, I should have done it this way. So I think for now, the best way for you and her is give each other's time and let her do what she thinks is right. And I know whatever she said could be hurtful, and some of them may not be true, but there's no point of arguing or fighting anymore. And just let it be, and she'll learn. She'll decide what's good for her and not.
It's one thing I would have loved to go away, but one thing that I really, really like am very fortunate and happy about in the way that I was forced to sort of deal with this situation is that, going on tour, it kept me busy, but it also forced me to face my stage fright in a sense. And I did it without drinking, and I did it in front of critics that were not fucking happy with me.
No.
And going into cities, seeing people hold up signs, seeing people, in that one place in
Pittsburgh,
Michigan.
Oh, Michigan.
Where those people stood there with those signs all day and like put some signs on their windows and stuff.
Oh yeah,
in town.
yeah.
But like forced to handle that. But also talking with my therapist, I was able to take things and things that he said, advice, apply them in real time to real life situations, and then be like, go back to him and be like, okay, this really helped me. And then be like, but this actually didn't help me. So we could like change and focus on different things. But I was able to apply, what we were working on in therapy to life in real time. And I think that was really important, staying here, facing it,
Right.
being in it. You know, a couple of things that really hurt my feelings is her, you know, saying that she was alone through this. I mean, I cared and have always cared so deeply for her well-being throughout this whole situation. Like, the day after the story broke, we went to her apartment. This was literally the first time that anybody really had seen us, like, and not like knowing that we were like that we're in a thing. Yeah, we were very uncomfortable, extremely uncomfortable. Like, there were production lights everywhere. We're shell shocked. Like, obviously our world's crumbling. No, we haven't slept, so we kind of just sort of like started like pretending and like being like almost like acting
like lovey-dovey.
Yeah, and it felt weird and gross. Like I don't know, it just felt like, you know, like making out with like your mistress at your wife's funeral. Like, it's fucking gross. We felt it was wrong. We're like, fuck this, we're not filming anymore. And she went to Arizona the next day. I stayed here because I was supposed to film Winter House. And then they were like, well, look, we're not gonna let you film Winter House unless you film with Sheena and Lisa and you start filming again. So they dangled that carrot in front of me. And so I filmed. So I'm sitting in LA by myself, nowhere to go, like nowhere to fucking go. And that's like when I like wasn't showering or anything. I couldn't go back home. Anyways, so like I ended up filming with Sheena and Lisa, and then Winter House ended up being like, well, no, there's no point in you going. I'm just like, shit. That whole producer situation came about because, you know, for years I have put a lot of my own time and money back into the show. And I'm not talking about like for myself, I'm talking about for like the big picture, you know, the overall show, to up the value of the show. Like, to me, you know, it's like for her to come out and say like, you know, you were never in love. It's like, so you came into a, you know, a relationship, you know, and you carried this on for this long and did all of this for a period of 7 months, and you didn't even love the person. Like, that to me makes it so much worse.
Everybody deal with their trauma. I would say this is a trauma, major trauma, very differently. You deal with it head on, sober, own it up, or fight a little bit. And she dealt with it like to hide out, don't see the world, don't see other people. And everybody needs like their time. Even Ariana, her whole aura like have changed a lot towards you. Like at the beginning,
Ariana.
she's like pretty like hateful towards you, and then now she's softened up quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, just the other day I was downstairs making dinner, and she came down into the kitchen, and she's got this like tower, this monolithic structure of boxes, and she just started going through them and like stuff that she's been delivered.
No eye contact?
No eye contact.
Okay, well,
we're just, you know, we're like sitting there,
improved.
but we were there for like 10, 15 minutes. But she does that today. She came downstairs, Billy was over, she like said what's up to Billy, and like, you know, it's pretty, I mean, look, like after being around, you know, in the same house for 6 months, like.
Coexisting.
Yeah.
Before all of these, you've never really get a platform to like, your own platform to really say what you wanted to say, and this is like the perfect timing. There's often like when you try to apologize, they will shut you down. When you cry, they will say it's crocodile tears. When you use a certain words, they say you're not using the correct words. And Ariana doesn't want your apology. I talked to her. She's not ready for you to apologize. So she doesn't want to talk to you face to face. But regardless of all these, I actually think that this is finally for the first time, it's your own platform. Maybe you could give the audience in Ariana, not like a closure, but the apology that you could use in your own words at least. Do you realize what you've done?
Of course I do. And, you know, it's been, yes, of course I do. And it has been such a learning experience, you know, with going through everything and with what I did and taking time to actually see the, you know, repercussions of my actions. And, you know, when you're in a scenario like that and you're so emotionally wrapped up in your feelings, you don't think logically, and you're fucking selfish.
Yeah.
It's like a drug addict kind of like sort of behavior, you know? And I think I was just so unhappy in my life, you know, and very just that I wasn't happy in the direction I was going. I felt trapped. And I didn't know how to handle it. And so I kind of just like rebelled in the worst way possible. And it was like exactly the opposite of what I wanted to do, but I ended up doing it inevitably. And it sucks, and I'm sorry for all the people that I hurt in that process. And, you know, I know now and can see the value of my connections and friendships. I appreciate them more now than ever. You know, especially with you guys. And, you know, obviously Ariana was somebody that I did love very dearly. And, you know, I would never, ever want to hurt somebody like that, even like my worst enemy. But I think that's why sometimes you end up hurting those people you care about the most, is because of your strong connection with them, you know? You say that there's a thin line between love and hate, because it's the opposite of love isn't hate, it's like indifference, you know? So yeah, I've definitely have learned a lot, and I think that as I continue to learn and reflect on these situations, you know, all I can do is just try to be better. Thank you guys for joining us for our very first episode of Everybody Loves Tom.
Everybody loves Tom. Come on.
You know, everybody does.
Everybody loves Tom.
If you have something to say it to his face.
Yeah. So you guys can check out Cal's website. It's calchandesign.com, correct?
Correct.
And he's done jewelry for everyone from Lady Gaga to Little Nas X to
Mariah.
Mariah did all the jewelry for La La
Lady Gaga.
Land.
Say Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Lady Gaga.
Woo.
Oh yeah,
La
the
La
Taylor
Land.
Swift, the long earrings you did.
For a Karma music video.
Yeah, and then also if you're ever in LA, you gotta go check out his store. He
Yes.
has one of the most insane whiskey and liquor collections I've ever seen. Far
Yeah, you can come
surpassed
take
me.
a look. You just can't drink it.
What? You can try a few. He'll make you a cocktail. And of course, you can get some amazing, beautiful jewelry. And yeah, it's an awesome spot on 3rd Street, right in the heart of West Hollywood. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much, Kyle. I really
Thank you.
appreciate it. It's been an
Thanks,
honor.
Kyle.
Thank you.
For more content, join our Patreon. Check it out. We got lots of coming to you. Bye, guys.